Logan, dude, Pokemon TCG Pocket, $1.25 billion in a year. Now,
Yeah.
what's interesting is TCG Pocket, it's very arguable that TCG Pocket helped propel what we're seeing right now with the TCG market.
I mean,
Um, I
that
mean,
was
it
sort
was
of what,
right around that time, right?
well, yeah, I mean, that's what people have been speculating for a long time, was that was sort
Yeah,
of the catalyst. And with these numbers, I mean, I think it's pretty set in stone that this might be
yeah.
the biggest trigger that caused so many people to get back into ripping packs that used to, as well as so many new people that weren't familiar with Pokemon's game and were like, oh, I want the physical thing. Um, I mean,
Yeah.
the numbers are crazy.
It's a super fun game, by the way. Have you played it at all?
I have played it. Yeah, it's a fun game. Yeah, it's
It's
it.
super fun. It's addicting too. It is really, it's kind of funny because like when it first came out, I had like a couple theories that I posted
Okay.
on Instagram. I was like, TCG Pocket is gonna be like people are gonna get into the actual trading card game because of this game.
Yes.
Now who knows how much of it was from the game in the end. I mean, it is interesting that they do seem to correlate. Like they were right around that time.
I mean, Beach put out a great graphic, and it shows sort of the sale of singles and sealed product that
Hmm.
correlates with the launch of Pokemon Pocket, and I mean it goes exponential. At the
Yeah,
points of release. I mean, I don't see how it doesn't have the biggest impact to today's market.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, I get it. The TCG Pocket's fun. And I don't know if you've seen it, but they just announced and revealed the next Pocket set, and it's like megas. And
Hmm.
it's super cool what they're doing with the artists and the art around some of these cards. Like, they're
Yeah.
exclusive, right? There's not, like, the only overlap that I could even think of is in commons and uncommons, but there's no
Hmm.
overlap with any of the secret rares, I don't think. And
Yeah.
so it's insane to see all of these really cool artwork, cards come out from Pocket, and you can only get them there. It makes those that collect the physical ones a little jealous.
Yeah.
But it's cool what they're doing, and I'm excited, to see kind of how things play out over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, with similar to how Pokemon Go has kind of settled down.
Yeah, for sure. And Pokemon's pretty good about like releasing more and more content for
Mm-hmm.
for their games. So yeah, I mean, I see it, going strong even, 2 or 3 years down the
100%.
line.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am super jealous of some of the art that they're putting out for in TCG Pocket. Some of those I'm just like, why couldn't you do that for the actual trading card
I
game?
know it's cool because, like, there are some people who will make obviously they're fake, proxy cards
Hmm.
for the TCG Pocket artworks, and they're super cool. It's super fun. Um, yeah, I just wish that some of the artwork would come to the physical TCG. I'd like the Mega Gyarados card that was just revealed for Pocket.
I
It's
saw
insane.
that. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know,
Yeah,
dude. It's cool. I'm happy I'm happy that for the art fans, they get to kind of experience both.
for sure. And with that, guys, welcome to episode 14 of the Poketable
14,
Podcast.
dang.
It's where we talk about the latest news. We share, our opinions, our hot takes
Yep.
of the market, and we talk about our individual businesses. Please make sure to like and subscribe. It'd be super important. We'd be forever grateful. And with that, Logan, did you see Zygarde,
Yeah.
not Rayquaza, is headlining the set in January? Did you
Yeah.
see that?
I
And what are
did see
your
that.
thoughts? Are you excited? Are you kind of relieved? Spoiler
I'm
alert! I'm relieved.
I'm relieved too. I mean, the only thing that could have made it better is if they swapped it and actually Storm Emerald that was coming in January.
Right.
So for context, ourselves, I know that we both made content about it. I know that, basically the entire Pokemon content creator world made content about it. But Storm Emeralda was a Japanese trademarked set that was trademarked several months ago. And right around the time, that it was trademarked, it was kind of speculated that this could be, a very a Mega Rayquaza set that was set in early 2026. Fast forward a couple months later, and it's confirmed by Japanese suppliers that the first set of 2026 will actually be Mega Zygarde. So Pokemon creators put two and two together, and we're like, okay, well, I guess Storm Emeralda will just instead be headlined by Mega Zygarde, and Mega Rayquaza was kind of, thrown away. But
And
now,
Zygarde kind of goes with the green sort of emerald
right,
theme,
yeah,
so it just made sense. Yeah,
it made sense. I don't think people would call you crazy for making those assumptions. However, it's now been revealed that Munikis Zero is the actual set name of the first set of 2026 that will feature Mega Zygarde, which means that Storm Emeralda, which has already been trademarked, is going to come out at a different date, which brings us back to the very first assumption that Mega Rayquaza will probably headline that set. Anyways, I'm super excited
breath
for
of
it.
fresh air.
I
Yes,
know.
I mean, well, and for those who were wondering, Rayquaza is basically the king of Emerald. So
Yeah.
whenever we hear Storm Emeralda, nothing's been confirmed, mind you, but
Right.
the number one contender is going to be Rayquaza, and
and
he's a
Rayquaza
huge
actually
fan
is like
favorite,
at
obviously.
least in like the lore, it's the first
Right.
Mega Pokemon. So like
Right.
they would be silly to not have a set headlined by Mega Rayquaza. I'm grateful that like it's still like somewhat confirmed, because before it was like, oh well, surely they'll do something with Mega Rayquaza at a later set. But now, that Storm Emerald is still set aside, like I can still really count on that set to have, a Mega Rayquaza SIR coming to the TCG. It's gonna be sick.
You just start thinking about all of the potential headliners in the Mega Evolution block. Like we could have Charizard, Greninja, Dragonite, and then maybe Rayquaza. I mean, it's like the list goes
Greninja
on
2
and
with
on.
potentially Ninja Spinner.
Yeah, with Ninja Spinner. Yeah, and then the next set is gonna be the Dragonite set.
Yeah. The next set is Mega Dream EX. That comes out in late November. That will be the high class set of the year for Japanese.
Right.
But it's funny, we haven't even talked about Muniki Zero. So this set will release, I think, January 26th, if I'm not mistaken. And it'll be the first Japanese set of 2026. And it will feature Mega Zygarde, which is sort of the main legendary of Pokemon Legends EA, the game that came out 2 weeks ago now. So that'll be exciting. There are some people in my comment section where I've had some thoughts on this set and some other sets, and people seem excited about Mega Zygarde. I think it's okay. I think it's interesting Pokemon, but
I feel like the Mega Evolution could have been done a little cooler.
It just feels like I don't even know. Like tacky isn't the right word, but like it's got like a big freaking missile,
like missile hammer or something.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm interested in seeing what they do with Mega Zygarde SIR. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what that set looks like, especially after the high class set of the year. I'm really curious how the year's gonna start off, man. Like, because last year we had Terrestrial Festival that came out at the end of the year, led into Prismatic Evolutions, which kind of snowballed the effect that we're currently seeing with the market. I'm interested in to see how this high class set does, and if the English counterpart performs well, people get excited about it, and leads into, this Mega Zygarde set, which then leads into maybe something else, maybe Mega Greninja, maybe, some other, maybe Mega, maybe Mega Rayquaza.
Sure.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting the start of 2026. Start of
Yeah.
the 30th anniversary for Pokemon.
Yeah. Now, Logan, to be sort of devil's advocate for a
Sure.
second. So
Okay.
we really haven't had that many sets fall flat in the last
Oh, geez.
year. Like, what has fallen flat? Like, there's been Journey Together, which I think hasn't been the best. But then again, like with Journey Together, I mean, is it really flat when
Right.
booster
Like,
boxes are going for
I,
$270?
I think Journey Together disappointed. I
I think
don't
Journey
think
Together is point. Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad set. Like, it
Yeah.
introduces trainers back for the first time in however many decades.
Yeah.
It has some strong trainers that are tied to the anime. Like, I think Journey Together is a solid set. I mean, we're probably realistically looking at, but
Try to Fable, maybe.
Stellar Crown, maybe.
Stellar Crown, maybe.
People might argue
Yeah.
Stellar Crown. Shrouded
Yeah.
Fable for sure. Shrouded
Shrouded
Fable is
Fable for sure.
probably, uh, a good candidate, definitely.
Yeah. Well,
So,
so I ask because I mean there have been some in the community that are excited about Zygarde, and there are some in the community that think the Mega Dragonite is cool.
okay, yeah, I know where you're going with this.
But I think there's a larger proportion of the community that think the Mega Dragonite could have been done better,
Mm-hmm.
and Zygarde headlining a set might be more of a disappointment than it is, something to be excited about. So do you think either of those sets, and obviously we don't know the reveals, all we know is who's going to headline the sets. Do you
Right.
think they have any potential of falling flat?
100%.
Yeah.
If I'm being
Same.
honest, like,
It always feels like the OG generation, like the Gen 1 through like Gen 4, it feels like the people that grew up in that sort of
the
era.
purists.
The purists, yeah. Like it feels like, and maybe I'm wrong, but sometimes it feels like that really drives, the market in a way. Like if the Charizard set's gonna go absolutely nuts. But like the
Yeah.
White Flare and Black Bolt set. I mean, there's an argument that White Flare and Black Bolt, it's not quite as popular as some of the
Right.
other sets. Destined Rivals, Prismatic,
Yeah.
Surging Sparks.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Pokemon really leans on the nostalgia factor. I was talking to some guy in my comments a couple days ago about, how he's frustrated that Mega Rayquaza is getting a set all to himself because it's always Mega Rayquaza, which I think is fair. Pokemon it really makes a lot of decisions based off of how nostalgic that decision will be.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. When's the last time a set had a big pull with was it Evolving Skies?
It has to be Evolving Skies, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
probably
we're several years
now.
away. Yeah.
Yeah. Charizard would be the better argument.
Charizard would be the better argument.
We had, Phantasmal Flames.
Charizard's probably top 5
Paladin
Pokemon though.
Fates.
Like they have to include it. Like they have a whole pattern of like the second, third, early set of a block be Charizard.
Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, I think absolutely that there is the chance of some of these sets falling flat. I think that we're really gonna have to see good artwork, in my opinion, for some of these cards to really, hold their own, in terms of the set. I mean, what I'm a little nervous about is sort of the art style that they've taken for some of the SIRs, for some of these megas. So Mega Sharpedo, Mega Lopunny, Mega Kangaskhan, Mega Latias, I think have some really cool artworks. However, they're all kind of the same. Like, they're there's still that,
Bulbasaur, Mega Venusaur, like
yeah, like, you know,
pretty similar. Yeah.
right. Like I think Mega Gardevoir, Mega Lucario, Mega Charizard, um, I think Mega Venusaur you could even toss in there, but like a Mega Absol, like those have distinct arts. You know, it's like, oh wow, I'm buying this card because it's, you know, the art. Versus Mega Sharpedo SIR, you're not gonna buy it for the art because it's a very plain art. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just very plain. It looks very similar to like you know, the Megalodios.
Yeah.
Um, you know, and with the colors and everything, it's striking, sure, but it doesn't have a
Yeah.
whole lot of character. And I'm
Yeah.
nervous that they've done this now with two of the mega sets, that moving forward, that some of the SIRs will carry on this sort of very like action packed, you know, not a whole lot of character in the art style.
Hmm.
And that makes me a little nervous for the upcoming sets, just because I'm going to talk about this in another video upcoming soon, but like Phantasmal Flames is really, without the Oricorio SIR, the artwork for the top SIRs are really just Mega Charizard.
Charizard. Yeah.
And so you have sets like Phantasmal Flames, which I believe is going to be carried by Mega Charizard, which
Hmm.
is a recipe for disaster for a set to be carried by one card. Um, and so like we'll really need to see, you know, some good artwork, I think, for just sets moving forward. I think
Yeah.
people are at their wits' end, and we can talk about this a little later, but I think I think Pokemon will continue to have to push the bill in terms of, you know, why someone might want this set when it costs however many magnitudes times over MSRP.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, because like if someone were to pull, I mean, because at some point you got to wonder if there's only one or two cards that you even want in a set. At what point does it become just more worth just buying the singles than opening the
Yeah,
box?
because if it's not
If there's
fun to
only
open it, like if you're gonna be disappointed by getting the
right,
Megalophony, like,
yeah,
so I don't
yeah,
know.
I'm with you. It's gonna be interesting, and we've learned from past sets that Charizard can't always carry it by himself. Now we're getting so we are getting some evidence from Inferno X, and that set is still
Yeah,
pretty popular, and
yeah,
prices are still remaining high a month after release. But it is going to be interesting in the long term if you know just to see what that value does. Um, because
yeah,
Obsidian Flames, you know, you had Charizard or Bust, you had um, Darkness Ablaze, same thing.
yeah.
So it'll be
Burning
interesting.
Shadows.
Burning Shadows, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite the rainbow one is one
yeah.
of my favorite. Yeah,
That one's good.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just it'll be interesting as we sort of head into like we guys, this is uncharted territory. um so like there's so much to speculate about at every single release. Which
yeah,
is good for us, a lot of content. But
yeah. A lot of content.
you
Yeah,
know, well, we have to wait and see.
yeah. But I mean, and obviously this is all speculation. But you can kind of see if you know with Phantasmal Flames, it basically having two cards that 90+% of people are gonna want,
And
and
like
then the set right after that could be headlined by Mega Dragonite, which has fallen flat for
Pokemon
most
that no one
people.
wants.
Yeah,
Very
it's
few
fallen
people
flat for
want.
most people. And then after that, you have Mega Zygarde that's headlining a set that, I mean, at least for the OGs, like, they're not really a fan of Zygarde.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if, you know, Pokemon can manage to just start printing, not you know, a
Yeah.
colossal
Yeah. I get it.
amount more, but
Right.
more, 10, 15% more than what they have been printing. It'd be interesting to see what the market does.
We'll see, man. Crazy times.
Fun stuff, man.
All right. So that was pretty much, I think, the Pokemon news for the past week, past couple days.
Yeah.
Let's dive into business updates. Yeah. Alex, do you
Yeah,
have anything that you want to share for PokeLegends TCG?
yeah. So I'm gearing up for Phantasmal Flames that releases on the 14th. So, gearing up for that drop. I'm making sure I have enough supplies and everything to handle orders. I'm getting more and more orders per drop, which is scary when it comes to
Crazy.
shipping, but it is awesome when it comes to the business. So I'm just trying to be as prepared as I can. Um,
Growth is
all the
growth,
all
man.
the boxes that fit the different product. What's that?
I say growth is growth. We'll take it.
Growth is growth. Yeah, right.
Not a bad problem to
Um,
have.
it's a good problem to have. So I'm gearing up for that, and then as far as the content creation side of the house, I feel like I'm hitting a good stride. I'm still kind of doing the 4 or 5 reels a week, getting more and more views consistently,
Okay.
which is really nice because for a long time there, I thought that,
Hmm.
I wasn't getting any better or something, something was going on, but things are getting better there. So yeah, those are the two main updates for me. I cannot wait for the Phantasmal Flames release. I mean, that's going to be nuts.
I'm with you, man. Like, cause yeah, Zippy's Card Corner will have an English drop as well, and it's I think it's gonna be. I've had so many people message me, in terms of being interested in it and signing up for the newsletter around it. I think it's gonna be a weird one, man. Yeah, it's gonna be nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll see. Now,
yeah, for sure.
for Zippy's Card Corner past week, so there's been some movement with Simplified Chinese. So Wave 2 of Gem Pack Volume 3 got arrived on the site and has already sold out. And I'll talk a little bit about sort of why I think it's sold out in a topic later on in the video. But sold out within just like a couple days. The Wave 1 sold out within 24 hours. I already have more boxes on the way, which feels good because that was the first Simplified Chinese set that I sort of invested time and risk into for the business. And so it's cool to see that my audience is interested and is buying it. And yeah, that's a fun one. It's cool. I
Yeah.
think I'm excited to see sort of where the dust settles, because at the moment, like I can't sell enough of it. I don't have enough. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting to see where that kind of resolves itself.
By the way,
What?
the simplified Chinese, those sets, the art on
Mhm.
those exclusives,
Oh,
top notch.
yeah, no, they're great.
Top
That's
notch.
Pokemon knows what they're doing
Yeah.
with the exclusives. They have to. That's the only reason why people would buy the simplified Chinese sets. And speaking of other Chinese sets, 151 Gathering is the fourth and final expansion of the 151 series and simplified Chinese. It has another exclusive Pikachu that is currently up on the site. That is not performing as well. It's a lot more expensive of a set. I think I'm selling it for around 132 versus Gym Pack Volume 3 is like 80. So big difference. However, big difference in price for the exclusive. Dude, do you want to take a guess at how expensive the raw Pikachu exclusive is for the 151 Gathering set?
I bet it's completely crazy. How much is it for raw? Let's start there.
The raw price last
Yeah.
sold on eBay is like $1,100.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
For
And
the
well,
for the Pikachu, right?
for the Pikachu, yeah.
For the Pikachu, yeah.
And because it's so, and to be fair, a lot of this is early FOMO. A lot of
Yeah.
people don't have access to it, just because it came out like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, prices are nuts for it. I think it'll come down, but looking at the Gengar, the Pikachu exclusive from 151 Surprise that has the Gengar, the spooky card, I mean, that card's still going for very high hundreds. It's sort of nuts.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't think there are a ton of stores that sell it, to be honest.
I'm not seeing a whole lot.
Well, I think you have to just jump through so
You do
many
have to jump
hoops to
through
get
hoops.
it.
Yeah.
just to get it. I think that's part of the reason why stores don't have it to sell.
Well, and it's also, there must be something weird with China because the shipping times take a lot longer than Japanese. So, for context, everyone, to for a business to buy Japanese cards and get them shipped over to the US, it's usually only about 2, 3 days. Much faster than I thought it would be when I got into the business. But they're pretty quick. They're very good about it. Chinese, at least the supplier that I've been with, it probably takes, they're quick with it too, but it probably takes a good week, week and a half, 2 weeks sometimes. So, and especially with international prices, it's like those fluctuate so quickly. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it is a bit of a gamble to do simplified Chinese. So we'll see. Gen Pack Volume 3 has treated the business well. 151 Gathering remains to be seen. But those are pretty much the two big business updates. We have some content updates that we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, any questions around the business, Alex? Anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think another thing to note too is I think the more you market, and we'll get into that later, but the more you market the 151 set, because I think there are a lot of just casual collectors in the hobby that don't even know about it. Like, they
No,
don't keep up to date with the Chinese sets.
right.
So
People in my DMs are asking, "Where's that card? How did you, what even is this set? Never heard of it." Well, now you
yeah,
have.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, and the fact that it's so far behind too is another sort of element.
yeah,
Because you have Japanese where they're like, what, like roughly 2 months ahead ish,
or ish. Yeah, I'd say so.
and then you have Chinese that's like 18 months behind
Behind. Yeah,
English. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. So I think that can sometimes I think, um, the average collector can just forget like
yeah.
what set are we on with Chinese. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, Alex, you want to take us into our next topic?
Yeah, so something I want to talk to you about, Logan, is
Sure.
it seems like everyone is releasing content on this all at the same time. Danny Phantump, Team
Yeah.
Rocket Joey, Pokey and E. A lot of people are talking about speculation around reprints
Mm-hmm.
and what that could look like. Um, they're comparing what happened in 2021 when everything was printed to the ground, like Battle Style, Shining Fates,
Mm-hmm.
Chilling Reign,
Mm-hmm.
Fusion Strike. So anyone listening, I want to stress it is all speculative. It's
Right.
a weird coincidence that everyone's coming out with content all at the same time. But Logan, something I want to kind of get your take on is for when the market does correct
Mm-hmm. Because it
for
will.
stores for stores that don't do like the content creation, they don't do they don't do any marketing on for their website for their products. Maybe they just sell on eBay, maybe they just sell on TCG Player. um, they're gonna get hurt the most when the market corrects. But
Yeah.
a market correct for content creators that have businesses like you and I, a market correction isn't going to be such a bad thing. Because right now, to give context, distributors, basically, they're not accepting any new clients. None of them are.
No.
Like, they have completely sealed their hatches when it comes to new clients.
Yep. Close the gates.
They've closed the gates. Right. So, what Danny Phantump in particular was talking about, what happened in 2021 was Pokemon printed so much all at once, like Battle Styles, Shining Fates, Fusion Strike, Chilling Reign. They printed so much that people that couldn't sell it, basically they were essentially blacklisted from the distributors.
Yeah.
people that couldn't sell it or said no the next time, right? That
Yeah.
the distributor came around.
Well, and you had a.
And
Sorry, I'll let you
and
finish.
yeah, and I guess my point is, if you don't do marketing, if you don't have a base of customers that are loyal to you, not just the products you sell, but to you and your brand, I think that could be a recipe for disaster when and if, if and when the market corrects. So I'll
Yeah.
pause there.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of it comes down to the culture around a lot of these businesses as well. So you and I, we have expressed many times that we're in this for the long run. This
Yeah.
isn't, this isn't it. We started before the boom,
Yes.
and while we're still growing, it hasn't been as easy and as straightforward as some rip and shippers who have blown up overnight. It seems. Um, I the culture that we have is we're in it for the long run. We're small businesses that are trying to just give Pokemon cards at fair prices. There's a lot of scalpers, rip and shippers, businesses that are, what's the phrase where, when there's a gold mine, the place to be is selling shovels. They're taking advantage of the gold rush, not the gold mine, and
Yeah.
cashing in, and that's fair. Like, you do it. I just think that the culture around these businesses is not going to be one to stay, and I think that you have businesses that um, are sort of on this weird cusp that I think we're going to specifically talk about right now. Is that those that are kind of half in, half out, and maybe they want to be, but they're not doing the work that we keep preaching every single week of creating content, building your brand, getting your face out there, building that trust. And I think that and aren't like that aren't thinking about some of the business principles that you'll need when you're doing retail, because this, at the end of the day, this is retail. And kind of what you mentioned with distribution, right? Like, there will come a point where someone has distribution and they've been buying $50,000 worth of product every single time, and they can sell it out immediately. Well, there may come a point where you've committed $50,000 to the next set, and before you actually get that set, the market starts to correct and prices start to drop, and you're left holding. I don't know what you're left holding, but it's, you say, hey, distributor, I actually am only going to buy like $10,000 worth because this is not selling and I'm afraid of it. And I think that's what sort of Danny was alluding to in previous years, in previous market downturns, where you had people who had distribution access. The main goal of TCG business is distribution access, and they turned it down. And you can't really do that without
Yeah.
distribution being like, well, we ordered you $50,000 worth. So here's your 10,000. Turn around, never talk to us again.
Yep.
And I just, yeah, like I think that we'll just get into a period where all the shops, close up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that just, I think it's inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I think business owners that are putting in the work now, with creating content, weekly content, getting their brand, marketing, doing that work now will create a land of opportunity later when the
right.
market does correct.
Yeah, Brian had an interesting video, yeah, recently. It's the same topic we are talking about. Um, like, if you are in it for the long run, and I mean long run, like 10, 20 years, you can become a 10 millionaire, with the profits that you make from Pokemon cards. However, it means grinding through market upturns and downturns and buying even when it's a downturn. And I just think that there's a lot of businesses that aren't prepared for that, because everything is so easy now. It's so easy to sell
Right.
Pokemon cards. Um, like, you have gas stations and card dealerships that have
Yeah.
found distribution and are able to sell Pokemon cards. So like, there will come a
Yeah.
time where that's not the case. And I just think that there will be a lot of shops that lose distribution access, that lose the ability to sell Pokemon cards, that quite honestly probably want to give up the ability to sell Pokemon cards and move on to something else.
Yeah. And losing distribution access, essentially, like for people watching, if you lose distribution access, I mean, you might as well
Uh,
close shop.
yeah, like especially if your business is based on, products that you get from distribution.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, we'll see, like,
Yeah.
maybe Pokemon does turn up the printing machines and they're able to print a ton, and maybe this all happens faster than any of us expect. I still think we're probably a good year out, year and a half maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
I think so too.
but who knows? So just waiting and seeing.
Yeah. Now, Logan, I know we were wanting to talk about some new content strategies that you've been trying, so I'm
Hmm.
definitely excited to hear about those. So I'll
Sure.
let you kind of take it away.
Yeah.
What you've been doing a little different lately.
So what I was mentioning earlier about how we sold out of Gem Pack Volume 3, I really want to emphasize, and it was a situation where it's like I knew on paper this made sense, but like I didn't actually really believe it. But I want to say that we sold out within 24 hours because of the reel that I posted and the hook that it had and the engagement that it got. So I posted a specific video on Instagram, a short reel, basically marketing that Gym Pack Volume 3 was available at the shop. And another one of those situations where it's like, hey, comment Zippy on this video, and I'll DM you a link. And I got so many people that engaged with that video, and like I said, I sold out within 24 hours. I did not use ads. It was in that period of time, in a single day, it was the most orders for a release that I've ever done. Like, it was on par with like an English release. Actually, it even beat out my English release for the month of September. Um, so like, it was wild. And okay, fast forward to this week, I get my Gem Pack Volume 3 Wave 2 in, and I'm like, you know what? Let's play around with reposting. Because I haven't done reposting. I actually have not done any reposting since I started. I reposted that same video, and something very similar happened where I got a ton of engagement. Reposting meaning I took the same video, I cut out the sound, and I reposted it. Because the original intent was to run an ad on it.
Mhm.
And with some of the music laws, I needed to repost it with no music. Anyways, it performed very well organically. Same content. I imagine new followers hadn't seen it, because I think it was probably 3 weeks old at this point, which still isn't that old. Um,
Yeah.
but I reposted it. It performed well. I sold out within a day and a half, 2 days. Um,
It's insane.
and so my point is, like, with content and your strategy around creating content for your business, like, good content will always win. Like there are some videos that are just stinkers, like they don't get the views that you think they should get. But that video performed well, and it surprised me how well it performed. But it was enough to, without any sort of paid ads or any sort of means like that, I just sold out. Like, and it wasn't an insignificant amount. I've sold 40 boxes, between the two waves, and so my point is, like, the ads are good, and I'll get into this in a little bit, because I'm going to get into ads moving forward. But good content, good quality content will perform well and will drive sales. It's hard. because it seems to only have been that single video out of all the 160 plus videos that I've done that has really driven sales like no other. But I guess it happens. So reposting is a valid option, and especially reposting when it's good content, because a video that performed well 60 days ago, how many followers have I gained since 60 days ago? Probably a lot. And so those people probably haven't seen that video, and those that see the repost and recognize that it's a repost, there's probably a reason why they've stuck around and enjoy your content. So they're going to be okay seeing it again. So don't go crazy with reposting, doing it, from a video a week ago. But if you have good performing content, repost it. Now do your research. There's probably some algorithm tips to do and use as you're reposting, but yeah, I think it's a valid, way to continue to make good, high engaging videos. And it definitely worked with selling out Gym Pack Volume 3.
Yeah, for sure. And so something I want to tell to viewers watching, if you haven't noticed yet, we put a ton of time and energy into strategy behind content creation.
Yeah.
Now for people starting, it's okay if you don't do that at first, but eventually I think it is important to start figuring out how to optimize your content.
Yeah,
and
you get to a point where you get to a point where you've gotten so good at all these other things. I say good, you've gotten experienced, and so things become a little easier to do. And so you have some time and effort to hopefully, put into furthering your business in other categories, right? It's not just like getting good at editing or getting better at your hooks. Like hopefully you're doing that just by practicing. But it's these sort of, I don't want to say business acumen because that sounds, super uppity, but like thinking about the strategy behind spending money, understanding how certain reels and hooks work, and some of the strategy to get a better engagement, right? Like this isn't sponsored, but there are apps out there. One is called ManyChat that you can use to automate automate DMs to people if they comment a certain word. It's what I use, when you say, oh, comment Zippy on this video and I'll DM you a link to my site. That engagement is so valuable, so much more valuable than a like or a view. And so if you can get people to do that, like your video will get pushed out further, and overall, like it'll be so much more impactful if you're up to speed with some of these things and are thinking about, how you can improve your business through these techniques. Now, another thing that we were talking about in terms of content strategies, carousels.
Carousels, yes, yeah.
So
can you talk about how some of those performed for you? By the way, just so for
what the carousels?
Yeah, the one you told me about before.
Yeah. So when I started out, what people tell you when you start out is make a video, make a reel, because that's the most engaging thing, and it is. However, I've been posting a reel for the past 130 days every day, and I was at a point where I was like, how can I make even more content? And I was watching content about content creation, as one business owner should. And I was realizing that carousels are sort of this interesting place in Instagram where if you put music to a carousel, which is a list of photos or videos in a single post, it will show up on the Reels feed. And there are so many less carousels out there than Reels. So Instagram will actually push the carousels out even more than Reels. And I make a lot of content around series. One of the series is my Pokemon Card Artist Spotlight series, where basically every single reel is a single artist's top 5, most popular English Pokemon cards. And those perform well, and they're consistent. I do about 1 or 2 a week. But I had this idea, okay, well, maybe I can do a carousel where same content, same artist, same visuals, same Pokemon cards, but I just make a carousel out of it. And so I have, number 5, number 4, number 3, number 2, number 1. And I started doing that, and the reach was insane. I'm telling you, I had a video of it that performed. It was for Mori Yu as the Pokemon illustrator. I think that video did well. Got a couple tens of thousands of views, which is good.
Yeah.
However, I did the carousel with it, and that carousel has over 1 million views just from that single post.
That is insane.
And
I still can't believe it.
It got me 300 followers from a single post using the same content that I used in my reel. Took me the first time, it took me, an hour to kind of figure out what layout I wanted. But once I had that template, it took me 5 minutes to get it ready. So I got 1 million, pieces of engagement, more than that, because I got shares and, likes and comments or whatever. But got 1 million views for 5-10 minutes of work. And what I've now started to do is, so business mind, I put my 10 hat business hat on, and I thought, okay, as you're swiping and you get to number 1, it's done, right? Well, what if there's an extra swipe? So if I do an extra swipe, what happens? People are automatically swiping. So I was like, okay, maybe if at the end of it, instead of just ending it at 1, I add an extra one, and it's a call to action for people to comment Zippy, and it gives me another chance to share out my newsletter and get people subscribed. Because I don't recall if I actually posted that extra image at the end of the carousel on that 1 million view one, but I've been doing it since, and it's not as engaging as Reels, but it is an opportunity to have 1 million people see that call to action and maybe do something about it.
Yeah,
it's just interesting.
that's awesome. So do you think you're gonna start doing ads from here on out?
For ads, I think so. So,
okay.
For a little bit more business context, I think that English Pokemon cards I've sort of hit a ceiling in terms of what my audience wants, and I'm not quite sure how much more time and effort I should put into having these big, extravagant English drops every month. And instead, more and more people are wanting Japanese and simplified Chinese boxes from me. So I think that the idea is that instead of spending time and money trying to find some trades locally, trying to kind of bargain your way through some English product, I might spend that more on ads, and seeing how I can convert people that way, because I have 17,000 plus followers now. I have a good amount of sales on the site. I have reviews on the site. I think my site looks a lot better now than it did back when I was running ads last time. So I think there's a lot of change that's happened since I ran ads last time, and yeah, we'll see. And again, using these strategies of reposting and these carousels to take advantage of good creative, good performing content, and leveraging those as ads. It's kind of like Alex said this to me earlier. He said, you don't put a Band-Aid on a bad video. It's right. Like, if you're going to use ads, you want to use an ad that already performs well. And so, yeah, I think moving forward, it's like I'm going to be really having a keen eye on videos that perform well, and if there is a way to introduce a call to action somewhere that makes it so that it's more enticing to go to my site. People are more likely to comment Zippy or whatever the keyword is. So I think that's sort of, my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, and I think for especially new store owners that are just now getting into this, I think sometimes they get caught up in, hey, if I just run some ads on this, post or
Static
whatever,
post.
people will go to my website and I'll start
Static
making
post
sales.
of the single booster box. So that's what
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
doing.
exactly. Or of like your logo or something.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna run ads on that and send them on my website, and people are gonna buy from me.
Right.
So what Logan was talking about, ads are a tool to help you grow, but they're not going to be a band-aid for bad content. There needs to be
No.
strategy behind running ads. The content should perform well organically, ideally,
Right.
before you run ads on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going
Exactly.
to give you the best cost per
Bang for your buck.
call to action,
Yeah.
whether it's visiting your website or going to your profile or commenting Zippy
Yeah. Whatever your
on
goal is.
whatever your goal is. Right. Um, so I do think that's a big one I want to hit home for new store owners.
Yep.
Ads are not the, the be all, basically.
Right. Exactly. And they're not. Yeah. They're not. They're especially not the way to, like, if you're not posting videos and you're just doing ads and they're not performing, like, I mean, it sounds harsh, but it's like, what do you expect? Um,
Yeah.
you have to,
You need to get better at creating your organic content first.
yeah,
That should be
yeah,
that should be where you put your time and energy into.
yeah, at least
I think
for a
ads,
little bit.
especially for new store owners, I think running ads should be like much later, like maybe
Yeah.
3 to 6 months down the road at least.
I mean, yeah, like me personally, I'll give you some numbers, right? Like I was at 500 followers back in May, and I haven't run a single ad since then. I just started them up this past week, and like that's 5 months of daily content growing from 500 followers to 17,000 plus. So like, obviously there's still a lot more to do organically, but like I'm now at a point where it's like, okay, I've got a handle on creating content. I've got a handle on who my target audience is. I've had a lot of organic sales without ads. Let's see, what adding paid to it does. Because like Alex said, it's right. Like there is a time and place for ads. They work 100%. But using ads as your crutch for any sale is a recipe for disaster, and it's not going to hold up in the long run. What will hold up in the long run is you building trust and repeat buyers and a brand with organic content that will keep you selling for years to come.
Yeah, no, I love it. Now, the
Now,
last thing I
yeah,
wanted to talk about on the podcast, and I think this is a good exercise to do just every, I don't know, every couple months or so.
yeah,
Um, is talk about how some of our longer term goals, how those change over time.
yep,
So for me personally, what I'm laser focused on, and what um, what I put most of my time and energy into right now in my business is getting my content creation better.
mm-hmm.
And I think it has gotten better over time, but figuring out how to continuously get better, tweak things here and there to um, just get the energy that I bring into my videos. I want to make sure that's consistent and attention grabbing, and just getting that as good as it can be, I think, is my biggest goal right now as a business.
Yeah.
and then and then hopefully start getting into longer form content too. I
Mm-hmm.
really want to start um, creating some longer form content on YouTube where I can just do some more of the like a little bit like this, like some more of the raw
Casual.
style content where I just kind of talk.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest thing, and a lot of that is because of Logan. I've gotten a lot of inspiration from Logan's video. I mean, Logan's had, I don't know, probably a dozen videos that have gone 100,000 plus views. Um, so implementing, and Logan's gotten that way from one being consistent, but also working on continuously getting better. So
Right.
those are the big things for me. But Logan, I want to hear about
Sure.
some of your long term goals.
Yeah. I mean, I think content creation is a I mean,
It's a beast.
it's a beast. There's so many facets to it, and if you're in a business like this, it's like we preach it all the time. You gotta do content, and so it's like while I feel like I might have conquered some aspect of Instagram, there's other things that I need to get better at too, right? Like I also want to dive into long form content because I know, from a business perspective, like long form content is the sticky content. That's what people come to YouTube for, right? If they're watching their long form content, there's a reason for it. They are so much more tuned into what it is that you're saying, why you're saying it, how you're saying it, who you are as a person, rather than the 90-second clip that they see, as they're scrolling through their feed. Yeah, a like is great, a share is great, comments are great. And I owe all of my business so far to the growth that I've seen on Instagram. However, I'd be lying if I told you that long form YouTube isn't probably the end all be all. I think that really, envious of some of the content creators out there in the Pokemon space right now because they're very good at speaking in those 10-minute spurts, where
Yeah.
they have a content, an idea, a theme for the video, and they stick with it for 10 minutes. Because 10 minutes is that AdSense revenue mark, and keep an eye out for that next time if you see a video that has 10 minutes and 2 seconds. But yeah, it's a skill that I want to get better at, and I feel like I need to get better at if I really want to, just give it my best for the business. So
Yeah.
that's one thing is long form content. I think November. I've given myself a goal to post at least 2 long form videos, 10 minutes long. Don't know what they're going to be about. I have ideas,
Yeah.
but who knows?
Yeah.
So I think that's something. Another thing is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, where I've been doing monthly English drops. I think that that return on investment per month is starting to plateau, and
Mhm.
I think that I'm gonna take some time. I have a Phantasmal Flames release happening in November, but I think moving forward, I'll probably pull back on the English drops, and really focus on growing my Japanese and simplified Chinese audience because that seems to be what's working right now. And
Yeah.
there's it's a and kind of what I was saying earlier, it's like there's a lot of time and effort that's spent trying to gather enough English product at a good price to where you're able to offer it at a decent price every month. Um, and so instead of spending time doing that, maybe spend more time on strategizing ads, and seeing what works and what
Sure.
doesn't work. And like I said, growing the international market audience that I currently have and continue to see growth for. So I think that's sort of where I'm at. I think Mega Dream EX, the next Japanese set, will be an interesting thing. So for context, I've probably ordered close to 100 to 150 boxes of Inferno X.
Damn.
Like
Crazy.
and sold most of it. Um And Mega Dream EX is one that I want to do even more of. One regret that I've voiced about Inferno X was that when you pre-order the Japanese sets, you can specify what date you want them on, and the earliest you can get them on is release day, which is going to be the 28th of November. They're a lot more expensive. However, if you dollar cost average your pre-orders throughout the different time periods that they provide, you can still get product on the day of and still have a decent price. So I want to try and commit to getting some pre-orders in for the day that it releases on the 28th so that I have product in my shop ready to ship out that same day. Because, as we've talked about with Japanese and English as well, it's like the demand is highest in the beginning, and usually. And so, because what happens is Japan releases are every Friday. And so if you don't have product on that Friday, you go Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then you get your boxes on Monday. That's 3 days of hype that you've missed out on. And with the current audience that I have that seem to be interested in Japanese, I really want to risk it and see kind of what that set looks like and how I can kind of think about Japanese sets moving forward. And maybe it's a learning opportunity. Maybe there's some mistakes I make along the way, but I think, long story short, I think I'm interested in diving more into the international side than spinning my wheels trying to gather English product that eventually doesn't sell.
Yeah, no, I think it's I think you're in a really good position for sure. If you've ordered over 100 Inferno X boxes and you sold most of them. I mean, keep in mind, guys, Inferno X just released a month ago.
Yeah.
So, like 5 weeks ago. So, yeah, no, I think that strategy is sound.
We'll see.
We'll see. With that, guys, we're at time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Poketable Podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. It's super important. And with that, catch you guys later.
Thank y'all. See ya.